Dr. Pamela Robinson is a nurse practitioner practicing psychiatry in Arizona, all under a web of lies. Local Arizona hospitals refer patients to her looking for psychiatrists that they can trust. It's a practice where she sees patients who are battling from the darkest corners of their minds, from those who are struggling from just day-to-day stress to those who are recovering from attempts to unalive themselves. Everything about her practice seemed normal until she was called as an expert witness in a court case. Dr. Robinson would testify in a child custody case that would shatter the illusion of who everybody thought she was. Now, during the trial, Dr. Robinson was called upon to give her testimony about the mental health services that she was providing to the father in this dispute. There was only one problem. As investigators started digging into her credentials, they couldn't find any record of her in the Arizona Nursing Board. Turns out Pamela Robinson wasn't a doctor. She wasn't a nurse. In fact, the psychiatrist that was there on the stand wasn't even Dr. Pamela Robinson. Her real name, Pamela O'Gwen, a career criminal with 9 convictions to her name. This is the story of the Arizona nurse practitioner imposter. Web of lies started to unravel during a custody battle. On the surface, it seemed like any other family court dispute. 2 parents locked in disagreement, each fighting for what they believed was best for the child. But this case had a twist. The father, battling claims about his mental health, brought in a surprising piece of testimony. He brought in Pamela Robinson, a nurse practitioner who could vouch for his treatment and his medication regimen. Since she was in court to give her expert testimony, her background and her credentials were heavily investigated. The legal team started probing, and they were having some issues. So they started asking more questions. Who was Pamela Robinson? Why isn't she showing up in any local medical directories? Suspicious of Pamela's credentials, they submitted a complaint to the Arizona Nursing Board. The claim was that Pamela wasn't just bending the truth. She might not have been a nurse at all. On February 18th, 2021, the Arizona Nursing Board investigation started quietly, but it didn't take long for the cracks to show. A simple credential check revealed something very alarming. Pamela's medical license and her DEA number was registered to someone else, a registered nurse in Maine. We'll call her Victim 1. When investigators contacted Victim 1, she was shocked. She had never worked in Arizona. She had never prescribed medications to anyone there. And she definitely didn't know anyone by the name of Pamela O'Gwen. Digging deeper, investigators found Pamela O'Gwen, the woman posing as Dr. Pamela Robinson, had submitted fraudulent healthcare claims to CCCS, which is the Arizona Healthcare Cost Containment System, just a year earlier. Now, as a side note, because I was a doctor working in the Arizona medical system, the AHCCCS is the Arizona Medicaid system, and healthcare providers have to register with them if they want to provide healthcare services to patients covered under the program, and if they want to receive reimbursement for those services. So basically, you got to register if you want to get paid. On March 5th, 2020, O'Gwen would use Victim 1's medical license to get approval for her fake practice at Engaging Life Center. Over the next several months, investigators uncovered a shocking trail of deceit. Between June 2020 and February 2021, Pamela O'Gwen wrote approximately 327 prescriptions for 60 patients during her time at the Engaging Life Center. She prescribed everything from highly addictive painkillers like oxycodone and methadone to anti-anxiety medicines like Xanax and Valium. But it wasn't just the prescriptions that she wrote that raised alarms. It was who she was writing the prescriptions to. Turns out she wasn't just writing prescriptions for her patients. She was also writing them for family members too. Just as they started to scope out the extent of her lies, they began to unravel the extent of the damage that it caused. Patients who had trusted her with their medical care were suddenly pulled off their medications. One of the patients described withdrawal symptoms so severe that it sent them spiraling to a severe mental health crisis, one without any follow-up care. Then there was the financial devastation to victim number 2, the founder of the Engaging Life Center, who had poured $400,000 of his own money, his personal savings, into this project, only to see it crumble under the weight of O'Gwen's fraud. Victim number 3 was the father and son in the custody case. She had prescribed medications not just to the father, but also the son who just happened to be a minor during the time. Medications that weren't even covered under their medical plan. Medications that made them so sick they had to go to the emergency department. Medicines that had the potential to unalive them. The fallout of Pamela O'Gwen's action shattered the lives of many, leaving them stranded to pick up the pieces. Now, victim one, the nurse in Maine whose identity was stolen, described the event as being terrifying and traumatizing. She was left to clean up the mess for hundreds of fraudulent prescriptions written under her name and a reputation that was tarnished for crimes that she didn't even commit. For victim two, the founder of the Engaging Life Center, he would lose his entire life savings and his overall faith in the healthcare system. Victim three, the father and son in the custody case, would fall ill after taking those prescribed medications and spend $500 in out-of-pocket costs for emergency care. Pamela O'Gwen, under a plea deal, would receive a 5-year prison sentence. Her case reveals some glaring vulnerabilities in the healthcare system, from credential verification to prescription oversight. What are your thoughts on this case? Leave me a message in the comment section below.